Welcome to Cruising in Classics. We wanted to give you a little overview on one of our oldies but goodies. This is our 1966 Volvo 122S Amazon that we affectionately call Aggie. And Aggie was probably the first classic car that Lyra acquired about 3 years ago, and really kicked off her entry into the classic car hobby. And as the first classic car, we were really looking for something that was classic look and feel, good drivability, but first and foremost reliability, which is often hard to find with classic cars. This is a 1966 Volvo 122 Amazon, and Volvo's engine architecture for this started with tractor engines, which in agricultural reliability needs to be built in, and Volvo carried that over to their passenger car. This is the famous B18 engine from Volvo. The number sequence signifies the displacement, a 1.8 liter engine, 4 cylinders, uses a dual SU carburetors, and this specific model has proudly an automatic transmission by Borg-Warner with a 3-speed automatic transmission shifted on the column. Brakes were disc up front and drums in the rear. Volvo is often known for their safety, and this is equipped with one of the Volvo's 3-point front seatbelt harnesses. As some of you may know, Volvo introduced the first 3-point seatbelt harness back in 1959 and shared that openly with other manufacturers because they were so fervent in their passion for safety. They believed that promoting this safety feature would save lives no matter what manufacturer that it came from. You'll see that 3-point harnesses haven't changed that much, even clear up into modern times, and we can thank Volvo for their introduction. With classic cars, one of the characteristics that you don't often get is great handling. But Aggie here actually is a fantastic handling car. That's helped by her lowered center of gravity from her ride height, but also stiffer upper front sway bars. The previous owner that Lyra bought the car from installed IPD sway bars, which really allow for handling prowess around corners. Believe it or not, this old 1966 is quite the handler on the curvy bits. Lyra likes to keep her classics pretty stock and OEM factory original, and she's done that for the most part here with Aggie. But one area that is not factory are these seats. They look pretty era specific, and they are, but these are not Volvo seats. These are actually seats out of a Mercedes-Benz. We're not exactly sure what make and model. If you guys out there in YouTube land have any ideas, please jot them down in the comments. We'd love to know. But these seats are super comfortable and come with an added headrest that the original factory OEM seats from Volvo did not. But we really like them. They fit really nicely with the overall look and feel of the interior. And after some debate and some conversation, Lyra's gonna hang on to these seats. And it's one of those rare features that are not stock, but she's gonna keep it here. Aggie's got a couple of personal touches and treatments that we really liked from the previous owner, who was a Volvo aficionado. I mentioned that these seats are not factory original, they're actually Mercedes-Benz, and they have this little elliptical design feature in the seats. And the previous owner's brother created the Volvo Classic V and designed these specifically to fit into that void space and just give it that little extra Volvo treatment. One of the things we really like about classic car ownership is the community that's involved, and the Volvo community is one that we really enjoy being a part of. The Round Fender Volvo Club of Portland, and they meet once every month, usually the last Sunday of the month. They'll meet up at a different location around the Portland, Vancouver metro area. And it's a great time to bring the cars together. Usually we snack, have drinks. It can be anything from a pub to a backyard potluck. It really runs the gamut, but it's great seeing these old classic Volvos. It's such a great resource for how to handle situations that crop up on these old cars. Great source for parts, great source for encouraging you to explore different aspects of your vehicle. So we really enjoy being part of the Volvo Club. They've really brought us in under their wing, and we've enjoyed bringing Aggie to join.
And I think at manufacturer.
Really?
Yeah. Drivers going.
Turn, old school.
All right.
Not getting lost or improved. Try and keep the car ahead of you in sight.
it's pretty rare that we get a chance to talk to the original owner of the car before we bought it.
Sure.
And so Matt here it's all his fault that we went down the classic Volvo rabbit hole. But Aggie, as we've dubbed her, originally was Matt's car. And Matt, what can you tell us about the car and how did you find it?
Well, my oldest son was looking for a 122 of one sort or another. So I was scoping Craigslist and all of those sorts of things. And I ran across this car and it looked really clean. I said, you need to buy this car. And he said, no, I don't. I do not want an automatic. I said, well, if you don't buy it, I will. And I was not in the market for a car. But I bought the thing from a guy who was basically just flipping it. And he had bought it, as he told me, if I believe what he said, from a widow whose husband had been working on it for some time. And the car, all of that seemed to appear to be correct. But he had no keys, so I couldn't listen to it start. Never heard it run before I bought it. Had it towed over to the house, punched the ignition out of it and got it to start. It fired right up. It was amazing. Fired right up. And then, so I was playing with it for some time, doing a little this, a little that, and I happened to see an ad on Craigslist that had, a guy in Salem had 4 pallets of 122 new old stock parts.
Oh, the treasure trove.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a neighbor of his who restored wagons, and he was getting too old to do it, and so he wanted to get rid of all the parts. So I bought all the parts off of this guy, and I hung a whole lot of them on that car. Oh, hold on. Not that they needed it. It just, these are new and shiny.
Well, Matt, Lear and I get a lot of compliments on this car, and the things we most hear about are the things that you did. So the ride height, the stance, the wheels. I mean, where did that come from in your mind there?
Well, I wanted it lower because it didn't look right the way it was. And I'd seen John Parker's stuff and
progressive springs.
Correct. So I ordered up a set and received them promptly. And
did it drop at about 2 inches? How much would
about
you?
About 1 3/4
inch. 1 3/4.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed, one side's higher than the other. And I've never figured out why. I looked and looked and looked. Never, I don't know why.
Never noticed.
Tape,
now that you told me, I'll never be able to not see it.
Put a tape measure to the wheel arch on a level ground, you'll see what I'm talking about. Not that it changes anything, but...
Yeah. Well, another thing,
yes.
Whenever I post a photo of this car on Facebook,
yes.
a million people chime in and say, what are those wheels? Tell our audience what those wheels are.
Those wheels are from a Ford Ranger. They got them at the junkyard in Hillsboro. They're not expensive.
They look great.
They look right, and the holes in them, I think, are an appropriate shape for such a styling on a car.
Yeah.
And they work.
And the lug spacing works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I did find out something. There's some cars that are wheel-centric and some are lug-centric. And I think this, fortunately, is lug-centric because it all lines up very nicely.
Yeah. Well, the great thing is we're part of the local Volvo club here, and Matt can always see his old 122 again. So thank you, Matt.
Miss it. I do miss it.
Matt has actually got a PV 544, right? And it's the envy of a lot of folks here. It looks great. You put your stylistic touches on it.
I put them together for me. I'm not a purist.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
It's all good.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Had fun with the car. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I truly am.
We hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about Aggie, our 1966 Volvo 122S Amazon. She's really one of the apples of our eye, and I think you'll agree that a classic that handles and is reliable is a match made in heaven. So hopefully you'll tune in for our new videos that are coming on board, and until then, keep driving.